Welcome to the 3-year guideline. This guideline will guide you through the next 2 years in the realistic mode in workers and resources after you completed the 1-year plan. This guide will help you keep your citizens healthy, have them educated and keep them happy as well. Also, you will get your first industry going that will make you a positive cash flow so you will not fall for the debt trap. We already have a functioning farm, gravel, asphalt, concrete, bricks and boards industry from the previous 1-year plan. They do not make us any income, but do save time and expenses in the big upcoming constructions. This is where the 3-year guideline will all lead up to. Build a medical university, a grain storage, fabric factory and 2 clothing factories, a water and sewage system, a small waste incinerator, the small party headquarters, the technical university, a new farm and some utilities and services like heating, distribution and technical service. Make a profit and have more than 1600 healthy and happy citizens with a lifespan of almost 82 years on top of that. First things first. After completing the 1-year plan, I first upgrade my road system so my fire trucks have gravel road access to all buildings. Keep in mind that during road constructions you do not block all traffic. The first building that I built is the medical university. There are a few reasons why. Strokes and heart attacks are the #1 cause for bad health. #2 is alcohol consumption. Both effects can be minimalized with the medical university. The research can be done at slow pace, which allows the education of citizens simultaneous with the research and thus educating citizens to highly educated, which can do research in the party headquarters and the technical university. We will have all the well-educated people we need for free. The medical university needs a high amount of bricks and concrete, which are easily delivered from the storage yards. Have the excavators do most of the groundwork, use citizens to finish the constructions with road cranes. When the university is finished, I reschedule my well-educated workers. We start with 79 at this moment. This number will grow when we do equal balanced research and educations, and I start with preventive medicine. Prevention is best. The farm will harvest in late July, so it's massive important to have a grain storage ready before that moment. When you start it in time, this will be ready way before that moment. Next up is a very important health hazard: overflowing garbage containers. I have played this game and have people dying because garbage was piling up. It is a silent killer which the game does not give you any warnings for, so be sure to tackle this problem before it arises. There is the possibility to build more dumps to store garbage, but burning it makes it go away. The incinerator is available from the start, that's why I use this now. Operating at low capacity will contain the pollution problem until you have a better solution. Exporting is not viable for long. The waste incinerator produces mixed waste. Do not try to burn this. It is registered as mixed waste, but it does not contain burnable material anymore. Re-entering it in your waste incinerator will lead to problems. Next up are sewage and water. Sewage need a low point as output and can travel horizontal, so on flat land you can make a grid without issues. If you start with sewage, water works with water pressure from the water tower and is more flexible in its pipes than sewage are. Sewage is also a passive thing, so it does not need any workers to operate. The fabric factory needs a sewage outlet, so we plan the sewage system in steps towards the fabric factory. If you plan too much at the same time, you will need to use priority to speed up construction. Materials should be brought to where the mechanisms are standing. The water system uses up to 5 people for a small treatment plant. So I start my water system from this building, which needs proper access to workers. I place the well in empty space. If I can have 2 power connections to my well, that's perfect. Things might break down, and then when the water supply is out of order, things might spiral out of control. So having a backup electricity is sound engineering. The water system is built quicker than the sewage and also has to lead up to the fabric factory. I make a different loop starting from the water tower for my workers and one other loop for the industries. If an industry can have less than 85% quality water, like the concrete plant or the chemical plant, I give them their own water source. But the fabric factory needs clean water. I have been relocating all my well-educated workers together in one flat and have built some more flats. I filled partly up with third world immigrants and the rest by natural growth. Then, when I start up filling my second flat with highly educated workers, I start construction of the small party headquarters. Here we can research the distribution offices, which we'll need very soon. Else we cannot have a second farm or second shopping mall. When the fabric factory has connections for water and sewage, most of the harvest has been brought in and we start building the fabric factory and one clothing factory. A large portion of my attention will go into having these factories well staffed, so they will work at peak production. If my first clothing factory has less than 60 workers, it does not make much sense to build the second factory. I want them both working when their combined workers are, well, more than half. Special attention for the factory connection in the clothing industry. It allows sharing of clothes and fabric. That means that the second clothing factory does not need a connection to the fabric factory, and also that one truck can pick up the clothes from both factories at once. Make sure that only one truck picks up clothes per factory, so you do not block the collection of garbage, which will end into problems. I probably took out a loan or two by now, and I start measuring all my projects by the amount of steel it needs. Steel is being imported, and a loan of 200,000 in rubles equals about 600 tons of steel. So planning ahead, I plan for food and alcohol industry first after clothing, because they do not need own water or sewage outlet. They are available from the start, and on alcohol you can really make some extra profit. With food we save a lot on imports. Exporting food is less profitable by road than alcohol. So we're now about halfway our guideline. The first building that we start after the snow melts is the technical university. In order to produce our own steel or chemicals, we need access to that knowledge. Also, we can build better housing for our workers. The technical university needs 170 ton steels, so that means that's 1/3 of a 200k loan. That goes directly into steel. The clothing industry at this point can balance out regular imports, but is not able to keep up with continuous steel imports. That's why I ration myself on steel and also do some infrastructure work, which needs gravel and a bit of bitumen but no steel. Okay, the technical university is done and I reschedule the second flat with highly educated workers. Future highly educated may live anywhere they want. First research for me is concrete. So we get access to bigger monuments and better prefab flats. After the whole concrete research line, I start the geological faculty, followed by the exploration of the land, revealing where coal, iron and oil are placed on the map. At the end of the episode, I will be about 90% of the geological map research. Just didn't finish it. The second clothing factory is built when the time is right, as explained before. Some more about the factory connection. The fabric is produced in the fabric factory, so it is pushed out into the first clothing factory, which in turn acts as a passive building with its internal fabrics warehouse for the second clothing factory. What would happen if you connect a third fabric factory? Exactly. When I do this, I can see some solid green numbers coming per month, which exceeds the payments of loan at an early stage. Meaning, 3 loans of 200,000 means about 10,000 in repayments every month. So my profit number needs to be bigger than 10,000 to make a genuine profit. EBITDA, they call this in economics. The one capitalistic trick I use is to roll over a loan. I take a new 200,000 loan and repay one older loan. It gives me some instant cash without having to repay a higher amount of rubles for extra loans. If you do that, that will lead to the debt trap. Because the green numbers feel good, but it's not enough to sustain over time. If you make 20,000 in profit every month, but you need to repay 30,000, then you know that's not going to end well. to pay back your loans first, well, that's a system that's called as the Rhineland economics. It is quite unpopular in Anglo-Saxon communities. So you probably never heard of it. The second farm setup is also designed specific for the realistic mode, where you can only transport by road at the beginning. I'm not planning to have factories work at 100%, but a rate where internal consumption of the whole city is covered, plus a little bit extra to export by road with 2 trucks. 1 truck at the warehouse, 1 truck at the factory. And so garbage pickup at the factory is not hindered, and both trucks can wait for a full load. The small warehouse will have both alcohol and food, and the warehouses do not produce waste. So, with 2 factories, 4 trucks, it all fits. We have almost access to the simple geological map, and we are making a profit on cloves, which will be even higher when alcohol is produced in the next year. In the meantime, we can gather workers for this industry and have them build everything first, and when harvesting season starts we can produce and export for almost no extra costs. Pure profit. I have made enough profit and rolled over a loan so I can purchase all the vehicles for the farm. Research for distribution offices is done, and we almost have luxury living apartments available. We have separated bus stops for the two industries. Now I leave you here at a beautiful crossroad. After researching the geological map, you can enter all kinds of industries. I advise to start producing one of the products that you are import most of. Top candidates are steel, chemicals and fuel. Mechanical parts need steel and explosives need chemicals. Both are promising exporting products to do by road. I like to go for oil, chemicals and explosives first. Oil can also fuel a gas power plant, and oil can be used to turn into fuel later. But the fuel refinery and the steel mill need massive amounts of workers, whereas the explosives factory only needs 75 to work at 100%. And it uses gravel, wood and crops, which are local available for free. But that's all up to you. From here on, you're on your own 2 feet, comrade. Good travels.